Good morning, everybody. Thank you. If all the council people can take their seats, I will call the Dallas City Council agenda meeting Wednesday, December 10th to order. With that, we will open the morning with our open microphone speakers. Ms. Rios.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Your first 5 registered speakers for the morning session are David Swain, Albert Navafar, Stephanie Johnson, William Hopkins, and Regina Imburgia.
Our last speaker.
Regina Imburgia.
Good morning. I'm Regina Imburgia, and I'm in Phillips Kingston's district, District 14. And I'm glad there's a lot of people here today because I'm starting out by saying everyone needs to be aware of the dangers of what's going to happen with a vote, and that's the vote to add hydrofluorosilicic acid to the Dallas water. And so that's everyone living, working, or vacationing in Dallas. You need to know about what this means to your health. Hydrofluorosilicic acid not only contains lead, it's an effective lead solvent. There is lead in most plumbing, and hydrofluorosilicic acid leaches the lead out. In older homes, pipes can be up to 30% lead. Lead blood levels are higher in cities fluoridated with hydrofluorosilicic acid. Whites have 2 times higher lead blood levels, and Hispanics 4 times higher, but blacks have 6 times higher. Raw untreated Dallas water has 0.5 parts per million of fluoride. There is no research in any data to show any increased benefit from 0.5 parts per million to the recommended 0.7 parts per million. So there's no benefit increase to raise the fluoride, yet there's great increase of risk. The decision to purchase this chemical, hydrofluorosilicic acid, for those prudently spending the public money is obviously no. Hydrofluorosilicic acid is a byproduct of the phosphate fertilizer industry and contains other harmful contaminants. Before you vote to buy this and put it in our drinking water, do you know how much arsenic it contains? Marketing propaganda has turned fluoride into an elixir which makes strong teeth, but no one makes any positive claims about lead. It may be that lead leached by this acid is a bigger problem than the fluorosilicic acid itself. Fluoride, lead, and arsenic are all on the list of chemicals that are toxic to the developing nervous system. This is science, not propaganda. Fluorosilicic acid contains arsenic, a confirmed type 1 class A human carcinogen. It is impossible to identify any level of a carcinogen which can be safe by being consumed. For everyone listening, did you know fluoridation began without approval from the federal or state agency? To this day, no federal or state agency has ever approved fluoridation of drinking water. Defenders of fluoridation minimize the effect of the lead, arsenic, scrubber, liquor cocktail, saying that the amounts of heavy metals, such as these high toxic substances, but it's irresponsible to add any of this to the water. A vote to purchase this to add it to our water is increasing the burden on poverty areas, not helping them. So don't put yourself on the back saying that it's a health initiative. There's higher tooth decay in poverty areas because it's a poverty issue. And it's still okay, here we go. I got to move faster. But you know what? I've been coming here for a year, folks. You all know that. Today's the last day you may be voting. I know sometimes you honor them a little bit more time. I've got this much more to say.
Go ahead, just keep talking.
Oh,
I haven't cut you off yet.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. You were all informed that LULAC passed a national amendment opposing fluoridation as a civil rights issue. The CDC and the ADA are not warning Black and Mexican American children that they have higher rates of dental fluorosis than Caucasian children. There is evidence they have actually suppressed this information. Dental fluorosis is an outward sign of fluoride toxicity. The city of Dallas is not warning minorities of their vulnerability to fluoride water. Dallas holds a liability when you become the manufacturer of the chemically fluoridated water, and as with all manufactured products, you bear the responsibility of disclosing the side effects. Fluoridation with hydrofluorosilicic acid has not been proven safe and effective for all people. The public is being medicated without consent. Raising the fluoride level to medicate the public to prevent cavities when the CDC in 1999 said themselves fluoride is mostly affected topically, not ingested, and evidence enough to this should be evidence enough to discontinue fluoridation.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving me a minute more.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, we will begin. We will begin. One of the things I wanted to say is we're going to be moving items around this morning to pace and sequence, I think, what's good for the citizens as well as us to get the work done. So stay with us. We'll start with item number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Agenda item number 1 is approval of minutes of the November 12, 2014 City Council meeting.
We've got a motion and a second. Any edits, comments? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Prior to consideration of the consent agenda, Councilmember Cadane would like to be recognized regarding agenda item number 9.
Thank you. Mr. Cadane.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On item number 9, I'd like to try to see if we could defer this for 90 days. Give me an opportunity.
Is that a motion, Mr. Cadane?
That's a motion.
We got a motion and a second for deferment. Discussion, Mr. Cadane?
Yeah, I would like to try to hold this out so I can talk to my colleagues and let them know and realize this is something we really don't need, and we can save the city over $1 million by not doing it. So I'd like the time to confer with each of them. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Questions, comments? All right. Then we will take that motion under a vote. All in favor say aye. 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 Any opposed? We've got, we'll take a record vote. Okay.
One moment, please. Please cast your vote.
This is to defer till January, right?
Yeah, it's deferred for 90 days.
For 90 days. I'm sorry, I misheard that.
Yes,
I thought it was 30 days. For 90 days. Well, I do. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I was a bad listener because I do have a question on that.
Okay.
If you don't mind, okay? Because I need to understand what the implications are for a 90-day vote. Thank you. So please, everybody, hold their vote. Clear, Rosa, clear. We clear the vote, Ms. Rios.
Yes.
She's clearing it. She's clearing it. Ms. Jody, I'm sorry. My bad. I thought I heard 30.
Regarding the timing related to the deferral of the item, we would have enough chemical supply till the end of February. So if it's deferred 90 days, I think that makes it March 25th or ish.
So we'd run out of it.
So we would run out of, and then the bids run out at the end of March as well.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mayor, could I rephrase it?
Please.
And say we defer this till our first agenda meeting in February.
The first
Agenda meeting in February.
Okay, does that if we approved it at that point, does that give you the time to do all the things you need to do?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
We've already done all we need to do.
So that's the motion. Do we have a second on that? Okay, motion is second. Discussion. Mr. Cadane spoken. Ms. Gates.
I'm sorry. Jody clarified my question.
Okay. Mr. Caraway?
Yes, Jody, if it's not approved in February at the next meeting, what position does it put us in?
Effectively, we would no longer be adding fluoride to the water supply.
All right, so
Because I wouldn't have a method by which to do it.
So, Mayor, if I could address Mr. Cadane. Mr. Cadane, could we not do it in
Please.
January? At the end of January instead of going into February?
Yeah,
Some form like that?
don't we have a meeting the 28th of January?
Yeah, we have a meeting January 14th
And then
a
the
meeting
28th.
January 28th, if I
Isn't that
recall
an
the
agenda?
calendar.
Isn't that an agenda meeting?
Both of
28th?
those dates were agenda
Can
meetings.
I'll rephrase it to January 28th. Is that all right?
Do you accept that, Mr. Atkins? Second that? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Yeah, I'd just like to address Councilman Condane directly, if I could. Councilman Condane, I'm just curious that we've been talking about this for a year, and why would you want to? Have you already gone around and talked to all of us and brought this up? I mean, we knew this was coming, and so I'm having a hard time trying to understand why at the last moment, after years of discussion and listening to this and having an opportunity to already kick the tires around, why at the last minute throw out 90 days, which would be a long period of time to delay something, and now kind of coming back. So I'm having a hard time understanding that.
Well, it's been changed to not 90 days, but...
Well, you started with 90, so I was just curious what the thought process, why we haven't already put this dog to sleep.
It'd give me more time to discuss with the entire council one-on-one. I've got a stack, and it's taken me a while. I've got a stack that big on fluoride that I keep getting day in and day out. So I am still working on this, still studying this, and I feel like I've got it down. And I need to talk to each of my colleagues now and let them know why I don't want it. And the simple fact is we don't need it. We've already got 0.5% fluoride in our water. I'm just saying let's save $1 million and we don't need that extra 2%. There's no way we need it. And so there's where I'm coming from.
All right, Mayor. Thank you. Mr. Callahan.
Yeah, Mayor, I just want to point out again that sometimes we actually take fluoride out of the water. You know, it's naturally there, but we want to keep a balance throughout the entire Dallas water system. So sometimes we take out, sometimes we add in to keep a balance control. So it's you know, apples and apples all throughout the district. Thanks.
May I answer that, Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Cadane.
Sometimes, Mr. Callahan, you over-fluoridate it also. That happens too. So it's better to keep a constant 0.5 if that's what we can do and not be adding. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's take a record vote.
Please cast your vote.
The motion is to defer till January 28th. Thank you.
All have voted. Voting in favor, Councilmember Medrano, Kleinman, Mayor Rawlings, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Alonso, Councilmembers Grayson, Griggs, Cadane, and Mayor Pro Tem Atkins. Voting against, Councilmember Caraway, Gates, Allen, Kingston, Callahan, and Hill. Councilmember Davis is absent when vote taken. The motion carries, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that concludes your agenda items. We are now going to move to the remaining speakers.
Okay, let's get started.
Thank you.
Next speaker.
Your next speaker, Belinda Heidel, not present. Margery Steakley, Ms. Steakley will be followed by Robert Ciccarelli and Henry Yawley.
Good evening, Margery E. Steakley, 1500 North Garrett Avenue, apartment 314, 75206, District 2. I have 2 biology degrees from SMU and UTD, respectively. I spent 15 years in research labs, including 7 years at Baylor Dental School. And I'm speaking today because in approximately a month after the year-end break, you will be voting whether to renew the contract to procure hydrofluorosilicic acid, the substance of fluoridation. And I am asking you to not approve that or renew that contract. If you look, I provided a 2-page handout. On the first page is a periodic chart minus the rare earths, which are not pertinent. If you look to the second column from the right, those are the halogens. The substance at the top is fluoride, and it's very small with a and towards the bottom is iodide, which is an actual nutrient which the thyroid requires to function. And I'm one of double-digit millions of victims of hypothyroidism in this country. And on the second page, I drew a couple of illustrations of what these two allergens, these monovalent anions, look like. And towards the top right there is fluoride. The electrons around it, which are actually active, are the 2s and 2p, which is the larger sphere and the dumbbells. And the smaller sphere, which only holds 2 electrons, are not involved in any chemical reactions. And so there's not much shielding between the strong positive charges in the nucleus and the outer environment. Iodide, on the other hand, which is what natural selection chose as our nutrient for our thyroid, is a very heavy ion. And the valence electrons, which are the outermost ones, the 5s and 5p, which I've labeled, are on the outside, and all the rest of them, 1, 2, 3, and 4, in the case of the 3, also including a D, which I didn't draw the dumbbells because that exceeds my drawing ability, all shield the environment around the ion from that strong positive charge, and so that iodide is a much less reactive and more benign thing that's safe to the insides of the body. It does not cause...
Can you take about 30 seconds and wrap it up?
It doesn't cause any... Say again?
Can you take about 30 seconds and
okay.
wrap it up? Okay,
so iodide nourishes the thyroid without damaging our teeth, causing fluorosis or fluorosis of the bone, or damaging the brains of developing babies who only get one chance at that development. If they miss any of their steps, they can never, ever be made up. Fluoride, on the other hand, is so reactive that it is very damaging because there's no protection for those strong charges. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Your next speaker, Robert Ceccarelli, not present. Farhan Riyali, not present. That concludes your speakers.